And the years just before in high school, we enjoyed a lot of attention, and a lot of my time was spent in theatrical efforts, operatic efforts. I enjoyed this. My teacher in high school that taught Latin was also a student of my father. She attended college there at William Jewell, and Miss Thomas had been a student of his. But I perhaps told this on an earlier film, but repeating myself, my father one day came to me and said, Mrs. Thomas came up to see me today and at the office, and I was rather strange. I said, yes. And he said she wanted to talk to me. She appeared at the window, and the secretary ushered her in, had her seated. And Miss Thomas also was my dramatics teacher, as well as my teacher of Latin. And my father closed the door and seated himself and looked at Miss Thomas, and Miss Thomas started to have the tears running down her face, and she reached in her purse and pulled a handkerchief out, Dad said, and was wiping the tears off her eyes. And she says, J.Moon, what am I going to do? She said, Allen's flunking Latin. My dad said, do you know what I told her? He said, if Allen's flunking, you flunk him. She didn't have the heart to do that. She borrowed, I think, from my theatrical ability and credited the Latin with that. So I obtained a C in Latin and a C in dramatics. I should have done better than that in dramatics. But